Buonasera. Thank you for being here and to this Changing Relations in the School Context talk. Today we'll cover a variety of topics regarding education, especially how it has changed during the past decades, especially in the 10 prior years. We come from different backgrounds and different profiles and nationalities, so we will be changing languages. We'll be speaking Italian, we'll speak in English, maybe some Spanish if we don't have the words in the other languages. But we will try to build something that it's we will be talking about how education should be. So we will take this space to try to understand how a roundtable should be in the context right now. So let's first let our students introduce themselves.
My name is Astanbek. I am the third year transportation design student in IED Barcelona. I came to Italy to take an Erasmus program in Torino. I'm from Kyrgyzstan, basically, but I moved to Barcelona 2 years ago. I chose transportation design because time is changing and transportation world is very interesting nowadays. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm from IED Bilbao. This is my third year also studying graphic design. And I have always been interested in the power of visual. I was really into cinema and images and posters, and that's why I'm studying graphic design. And I came here to Milan because I wanted to go on Erasmus. I think it's quite interesting to get to know new perspectives and new opportunities. And I came here for the design week, which I understand is not always the same here in Milan, but it was quite cool. And yes, I'm here and I love it.
Well, I'm Eduardo Sánchez. I'm the head of Fashion School in IED Madrid. I started as a designer. I studied, in fact, in IED Madrid 25 years ago. So I can talk on how we have changed. And I've studied psychology as well and worked as a designer and as an educator for more than 15 years now. I've taught fashion system, fashion sociology. I lived in Ethiopia for 3 months for a train the trainer program to open the first fashion school there to support the textile industry in the region of Oromia. And well, from 3 years ago, I'm the head of fashion, and we are trying to understand how to change and evolve along all the students.
Io sono Raffaella Perrone, sono la direttrice di area design in IED Barcellona. Sono italiana e ho studiato al Politecnico di Milano un sacco di anni fa, non definiamo quanti, e poi ho fatto un Erasmus a Barcellona e sono rimasta là. Ai miei tempi, quando si studiava design al Politecnico, era Politecnico, primi 3 anni tutti insieme, poi design. Quindi comunque la mia formazione era disegno degli interni e industrial design, e sono ormai a Barcellona da più di 25 anni, dei quali praticamente gli ultimi 20 dedicati praticamente quasi esclusivamente alla docenza. Anch'io mi domando quasi ogni giorno cosa possiamo fare per cambiare il paradigma educativo e per essere molto più vicini ai processi di apprendimento degli studenti, perché credo sia una delle missioni principali delle scuole, no? Sui contenuti più o meno tutti sappiamo quali devono essere i contenuti, su come farlo forse lì è veramente la questione principale in questo momento. Vi spiego un po' come abbiamo organizzato l'intervento. Anzitutto volevamo ringraziare ovviamente lo IED per averci invitato in questa giornata, mi sembra abbastanza importante per voi studenti. È bello che si possa pensare ai cambi generazionali e a cosa sta succedendo da tanti punti di vista, no? Anche l'intervento di stamattina sul gender mi sembra molto molto attuale, molto importante, sulla comunicazione ieri. Sì che è vero che siamo venuti qui in realtà a porvi delle domande, cosa che di solito uno dice, ma come delle domande? Cioè, noi siamo venuti qua ad ascoltare. No, noi siamo venuti qua ad ascoltare. Per questo, tanto per me come per Edoardo, era molto importante che ci fossero anche gli studenti, perché credo che per quanto possiamo leggere tanti autori, per quanto si possa speculare dal punto di vista teorico sulla pedagogia, per quanto si possa leggere e comunque informarsi, andare a congressi, cosa che facciamo, l'esperienza giornaliera è molto importante e i cambi generazionali, nella mia opinione, stanno diventando sempre più veloci. Io da 20 anni che mi dedico a questa professione, io sto invecchiando, gli studenti con cui lavoro hanno sempre la stessa età, no? 18, 19, 20, 21, 18, 19, 20, 21, però io no. E invece mi rendo conto che i cambi che magari 10 anni fa si notavano ogni 4 anni, ormai al giorno d'oggi io li noto ogni anno, quasi ogni anno. E gli stessi studenti a volte che poi diventano alumni, diventano professori, magari con 2 o 3 anni di esperienza, dicono, ma questi studenti di quest'anno, cioè, magari la breccia generazionale tra di loro è di 3 o 4 anni, no? E nonostante tutto notano che c'è questa grande breccia. Quindi diciamo che il nostro obiettivo di oggi è quello di appunto ascoltarvi. Con Eduardo abbiamo strutturato un po' l'intervento in due parti, ma sicuramente il centro è il learning process. Volevo sapere quanti studenti ci sono adesso in questo momento nell'aula. Ok, quanti docenti? Ok, e quanti educatori in generale o persone che si dedicano all'educazione o che possono essere anche eventualmente genitori, perché come no, anche loro hanno una buona fetta di... e spero che appunto online ce ne siano altrettanti. Avremo basicamente l'intervento di oggi suddiviso in 2 parti. La prima parte è centrata sul cercare di capire quali sono, diciamo, le dinamiche di una scuola di oggigiorno, di una scuola contemporanea, ponendoci appunto una serie di domande, di questioni tanto che abbiamo condiviso con Eduardo come con gli studenti. E la seconda, che secondo noi è veramente una cosa importante, la seconda parte è centrata sull'approccio collaborativo. Vale? Partendo dalla base che la scuola la dobbiamo intendere come un fatto di partecipazione, e quindi sotto questo titolo che la scuola è partecipazione e collaborazione, e partendo anche dal presupposto che tutte le statistiche sembrano indicare che nel futuro la cosa più importante a livello anche proprio di skill professionali sarà questa capacità di collaborare, no? Quindi fino a che punto noi scuole possiamo aiutare gli studenti a, diciamo, allenarsi in questo lavoro collaborativo che spesso diamo per scontato, e poi comunque poi approfondirò un po' di più. Quindi adesso in questo momento passo la parola a Eduardo. Le immagini servono semplicemente come fondo, abbiamo preso delle immagini così che illustravano un po' certe cose ma non hanno un'intenzione diretta. Grazie.
So why are we here? And we wanted to, when we talk about methodology, we talk about flipped classrooms. So we wanted this to be a flipped conference. So we will like you to stop us, ask questions or any ideas. We will be launching questions to our students, but you're welcome to be part of this conversation. And we are here to talk about the challenges that education has right now and how this is affecting the school dynamic. What we teach, how we teach it, and who is part of that process is fundamental and central right now. We have many challenges that come from even the education sector, like there are trends like niche specialization, demand for intermediate skills, soft skills, holistic experience, a global mobility for students that gives us a challenge about inclusivity and multicultural approach. And in that way, when we start thinking about what does a teacher must have, what are the skills and how should a teacher be in the year 2023, especially with all the changes that we've lived through, I think about how my teachers were. I started studying psychology in the 20th century, in 1999, and my teachers were providers of knowledge and were controllers. I mean, I didn't even speak to them. They came to class, they gave a lecture, and they left the class. And after that, if I wanted to speak to them, I had to make an appointment to go to their office, and if I wanted to have a conversation with one of my teachers, it might take me a week to 10 days to get to talk for 5 or 10 minutes. It was all about control. The teacher wanted to know what is happening in his class because it was his or her class. It wasn't the student's class. It was the teacher's class. The knowledge was the teacher's, the space, the process, the tools, everything was theirs. So when I started studying in IED, it was 3 years later, and I guess creative school gave me a different approach to teaching that you could have in a regular university for some degree as psychology. I couldn't imagine what would be economics or law in that regard. But when I started teaching more than 16, 17 years ago, I wanted to be different in that way, but I couldn't forget in a way the education I had received. So I started trying to be a facilitator, to work more with the students, to make them more part of the process. But I think that teachers right now should have different roles. It's not only about being the provider of knowledge, it's not only about being a facilitator of knowledge. They have to be a prompter. They have to ask and prompt the students to be part of the process, to motivate and want them to be part of this experience. They have to be a resource. They have to be around. They have to be available. Sometimes you have to prompt the student to be and work with you, but sometimes you just need to be there for the student to approach and work with you. You need to be an assessor. We have to talk about assessment and evaluation. It's something that I think it's central right now on how evaluation, the role of it within education, and the need for it. I mean, it should be a tool that helps the student develop and not something that demotivates them and stops them from developing. So we should be talking more about feedback, about walking the road along the student, more than trying to give a simple number or an evaluation. The teacher should be an organizer, but not an organizer of the work. They should teach how to organize that work. They shouldn't tell the student how to build their process or their system. They should give them the tools to build their own process and system. I think this here in a design school is something that we really understand. But nevertheless, we have to keep working on it. And it should be a participant. The teacher should be, we prompt our students to work peer-to-peer, but in a way, the teacher has to be a peer. We have to be equals to the students at some point. We have to be a participant just in the same level as all students. And more than ever, then we have to be mentors and coach. We have to just take all these skills and work with them. In IED Madrid, in Fashion School, we like to work in what we call a learning ecosystem, the new learning ecosystem or architecture. Within that, we work with different dimensions or perspectives or sectors to remake the learning process or the pedagogical approach that we have towards our students. Just let me make a brief summary of that. We work within the spatial temporal dimension of learning. We think that now, more than ever, we have to learn anywhere and anytime. It should be an ubiquitous learning. We shouldn't be only learning within the classroom or even within the workshop. We should create a mindset for the students that allows them to keep learning no matter where they are or when they are. If from an epistemological point of view, we think that the knowledge and learning has to be active, and the students should be a generator of knowledge. We can provide knowledge, we can be a provider, as I said, but we should be prompters for the students to create their own knowledge within the classroom in the collaborative process that we will elaborate later. And also a discursive way. When I started teaching, I was doing exactly what I'm doing right now. That is talk a lot, only talk for 2 hours, and then the students would leave. Now we have to understand that there's a multimodal knowledge representation. We have to understand the new media we have in our hands to make our discourse more closer to the students. And also in retaking assessment and evaluation, in this dimension, we should be working in recursive and prospective evaluation and feedbacks. We should be introducing new tools. We have learning analytics now. We are data interpretation that is being put into companies. We should apply that also in education to understand daily how our students are doing and be able to provide a proper feedback at any time. Also, from a social point of view, we should talk about collaborative intelligence. We should talk about social memory and a social approach to learning. And from a cognitive dimension, we should talk about, with the students, about metacognition. We should think about the process of thinking. We should be working self-reflection, a critical thinking about the process we have and the process our students have. And in a comparative dimension, we should be flexible and adaptable to each student's profile within each of the different content. So for that, we have to, as educators, work a lot. But in the center of that, that doesn't matter what we think about this. What are our students' expectations and needs? What do they need? Because to apply all these, they should be in the center of the conversation. So, Astonbeck, Julia, what are your expectations and needs?
Expectation as a coming, well, it's been 2 years that I studied my bachelor, but I just realized that coming to school, I'm coming not only to learn, but also to share, because it's very important, because the developing of digital creative tools, I think now we learn also much outside of the school. And I'm coming to the class to share with not only my group mates or classmates, but also with the teacher. Maybe he doesn't know, maybe he knows, but that's not the main point. Main point is to discuss this, what we can do further with that. It's these creative tools are, for me personally, is important because before, the learning by yourself outside of the school was just an extra effort. But in my opinion now is a part of your, necessary part of your curriculum, because you learn anywhere, doesn't matter, school, outside. And I think more and more the classes, and I like it, classes are workflow to discuss together. Thank you.
Well, in my case, when I first came to the university, I was shocked. I was really used to teachers speaking and what they say, it was like facts. I was rational. I loved like the objective thing of studying. And when I came to IED, I was like, oh, but things are not just one way. Teacher has his own method, his own answer. And at first it was like chaos. There were a lot of inputs. I don't know what to think. Now, after 2 or 3 years, I have understood that there are as many answers as people are. And what I'm most grateful for my teachers is that they encourage us to find our own answer. They always try to be critical with what they say. They always they try to establish conversation with us, not only in the classroom, but also outside. They are always very available. And I really feel like they want to listen to us. I feel like they care what I'm really saying, and that sometimes they also can change a little bit of what they think as I change because of what they tell me. So that's why I expect to keep up this conversation so that I grow and they grow and I feel listened, so that I can find also my own answer.
Not just showing you some picture, no, about then we chose some picture related with the spaces, no, real different configuration, different moment in different buildings from Spain. But it's true then, as Stanbeck said, out of the school is another important place, no, to learn with real experience, visiting special places, or in this case it was just visiting the Open Arms both, and Stanbeck was here just. And in this other case, no, was a trip.
Yes, this is a project we, well, in fact, IED Milano has taken part in it, IED Barcelona and IED Madrid. In fact, one of the editions, all students from all three IEDs were there. It's a Gen Z Lab. It's with, in collaboration with Guess, the brand. It's students from fashion and business universities from all over Europe get together for a 2-day intensive work regarding the needs and expectations for the Gen Z consumer. So, and it's really, and they work together with students from different disciplines, countries, and it's when we talk about this collaborative approach that we'll be talking about, this is one of the examples that could be relatable to that.
Okay, so in this case, this first part, I want to speak about this. Okay, this slide, I discovered this slide 2 months ago by the Teaching Truth page, and in my opinion was very interesting because for first time I find information about 7 skilled students will always need. I think that this is a very important material for me, showing this slide to the teacher in a teaching team. But after, I realized that it was super important to explain this to the student too. So in my academic presentation this year, I show them this slide about expectation in terms of the thing that we need as a teacher in the classroom. Passo all'italiano perché voglio comunque, mi piace poter esprimere certe sfumature. Spesso, no, ci rendiamo conto che noi insegnanti, no, abbiamo questa responsabilità, no, di dover farvi partecipare, di dover essere dinamici. Ogni tanto ci sembra quasi di dover teatralizzare, no, perché così gli studenti, ieri si parlava molto del linguaggio, no, se bisogna abbassare il linguaggio, il livello del linguaggio per farci capire perché il vostro linguaggio. Io credo che, come dice Platone, già lo dicevano Socrate e Platone, i giovani siete comunque, cioè siamo stati anche noi sempre giovani e non cambierà mai questa breccia generazionale che c'è, perché ci deve essere prima di tutto. E non credo che né leggete di meno, cosa molto falsa, leggete un sacco di WhatsApp, cioè sul leggere di meno io non ci credo, sul fatto che il linguaggio è troppo occulto per voi che non ci arrivate nemmeno ci credo. Io credo che i giovani giustamente avete le vostre caratteristiche perché il mindset mentale è fatto così, e semplicemente noi, quello sì che secondo me dobbiamo farlo, dobbiamo cercare di approcciarci meglio, no, a questo mindset, cosa che giustamente, come ha spiegato Edoardo, 20 anni fa era impensabile, perché quando il professore entrava nell'aula era il guru e quindi tu stavi ad ascoltare, punto, non c'era discussione su questa cosa. Siccome, come ha detto Stanbeck, oggigiorno invece la conoscenza, cioè, è a portata di tutti, no? Perché c'è Google, posso informarmi su 1000 fonti, credo che invece è proprio su questa relazione, no, che si stabilisce tra persone, dove ci può essere questo intercambio di scambio, per meglio dire, di da una parte esperienza forse, e dall'altra invece anche una visione più fresca e anche molto più aperta. Io credo che dai nostri studenti possiamo imparare tante cose, perché reputo che io so certe cose ma loro ne sanno molte altre. Quando gli chiedo di mettere una playlist di musica sono molto più bravi di me, e quindi per animare un po' la lezione meglio che la mettano loro. Quando gli chiedo l'ultimo trend sono sicuramente più aggiornati loro, perché io non ho il tempo di farlo. Quindi da questo punto di vista credo che anche noi dobbiamo proprio ridimensionarci, no, nella nostra figura di teacher. Però sì che è vero che ci sarebbero delle cose belle, no? Cioè da aspettarci, nel senso che con cui voler lavorare. Io dico sempre che la curiosità e l'immaginazione più o meno viene dato dall'ADN, e quindi ognuno se lo porta a casa, e tutte queste skill ovviamente noi possiamo aiutare a approfondirli. L'iniziativa l'agilità e l'adattabilità anche viene abbastanza dato, però è vero che soprattutto in realtà come IED Barcellona, anche IED Madrid, dove c'è molta interculturalità e anche molta, diciamo, background diverso, questa idea dell'agilità e di sapersi anche adattare a differenti situazioni è molto importante. Sul critical thinking, effective oral and writing communication and accessing to analyzing and information sono tutte cose invece che sì, noi possiamo aiutarvi, no? A sviluppare di più o a farlo in modo, diciamo, forse più strutturato o più accademico o più, diciamo, pedagogicamente guidato, ecco, per meglio dire. Però per esempio sulla collaborazione, no? In quanto al network e ad avere questo spirito collaborativo, credo che è una cosa che realmente voi riuscite a farlo meglio di noi, ok? Perché è vero che siete molto più abituati a condividere le cose che noi non eravamo per niente abituati, però sì che a livello di skills è un punto importantissimo in questo momento nella nostra visione. Perché è importantissimo? Perché questo collaborative approach è anche quello che in tutti i manuali di soft skill professionali del futuro è il punto su cui si sta incentrando molta parte della nuova formazione. Quindi è vero che ogni volta di più, e le imprese lo stanno dimostrando perché stanno facendo tanti lavori di team building, il lavoro in equipo è super importante, cioè la struttura gerarchica si è smontata, no? Il modello di impresa appunto 3.0, anche quello, quindi è tutto in discussione questa cosa. E allora qui viene il nostro ruolo e la nostra responsabilità come scuola. Se la collaborative approaches è importante come skill professionale, in design, tra l'altro sappiamo, no, che il designer per definizione non lavorerà mai da solo, assolutamente mai, quindi dalle scuole dovremmo appunto lavorare su questo punto e dovremmo forse chiederci anche come farlo o quali situazioni offrire agli studenti per poter sviluppare meglio o allenare, come sempre dico io, questa capacità collaborativa. Abbiamo messo 3 titoli, no, di questa relazione tra teacher-student, no? Quindi vabbè, il teacher-student è quella tradizionale, quella che è il paradigma tradizionale dell'educazione. Student-teacher già un attimo che ci sono alcuni docenti che si trovano un attimo spaesati, ma invece dovrebbero essere molto aperti su questa roba. Student è una cosa molto più naturale, che fate già voi di natura, perché lo fate, condividete sui social, condividete co-founding, cioè ci sono tutte anche proprio dal punto di vista dell'economia, no? Ci sono nuovi formati che si basano su questo concetto. E poi ci sarebbe l'ultimo che con Eduardo abbiamo deciso di non mettere, ma sarebbe il teacher, che anche lì si dovrebbe fare questa cosa, no? Cioè se noi vogliamo trasmettere una cultura collaborativa agli studenti, quantomeno come insegnanti dovremmo lavorare anche ed essere aperti a lavorare su programmi incrociati, quindi tra magari materie che condividono certi punti, quindi collaborare di più tra di noi, non chiuderci nel nostro ghetto della nostra materia. Allora la domanda che abbiamo posto ad Astanbeck e a Julia sono se questo collaborative learning should train collaborative work, e quindi do you think that in these 2 or 3 years of your career you're training it, and what or why and how?
Answering the question, definitely yes, because I think there are quite several important factors that influence for that. First, from my notices, I think it's places to learn together, to share. It's the places, whatever, in the university or outside. The second one is I think the relationship with the teacher. I think it's important to mention that I find it interesting how this gesture, when the teacher sits next to you, not only teaching in front of you, because I think it's the very good and comfortable way to discuss the project. I find it also interesting to work interdisciplinary. Maybe we can see the photo from visit to Open Arms. it was the interdisciplinary workshop in the middle of the year, when what we did is we mixed the groups, transportation, graphic product, and it was a very nice experience because we just got out of the box working with a totally different topic, hearing and sharing the ideas from other students from other disciplines. I think it's a very, very nice experience to have. And it was quite successful as a result. The projects from this workshop was presented in very, very nice events. Yeah, that's it.
In my case, also, IED Kunstal in Bilbao helped me a lot to work, like not group work, what you explained to me before, but in teamwork. I was not good at teamwork because I didn't trust others. I had a hard time delegating, but after 2 years of studying, it's true, like the attitude of the teachers towards the students, the place is really welcoming to do teamwork. I've learned that although it's an effort because it's difficult to work in teams, you have to share your ideas, you have to discuss your ideas, you have to be critical, but that's what I'm asking also for the teachers, to be critical, open-minded, so I should be the same way. I think last year I made 2 projects in teams, and are both projects that I'm really proud of. I feel like I've worked on them, but I'm sure that without my team, I couldn't have reached that great result. I'm really proud. And yes, it's thanks to teamwork and learning how to listen to others.
And I will ask you if normally, sometimes I ask to my student, okay, think in your best experience, okay, in terms of the teamwork, and write about why. And after I ask them, and now think about your very bad experience in terms of the teaming work and explain why. Okay, so normally, in terms of the middle average, when people speak about a good experience, the sentence starts with I'm very happy because I apport okay, and when people spoke about the bad experience, is about because the rest of the group and the other part of the group, because someone was not very motivated, So this is the first point. This is the problem. This is the problem. When it's good, it's because I'm, and when it's bad, it's because the other. I think that this is a key point, okay? So in this key point, we want to work maybe more with personal skills. Before working in team, maybe people have to know better our personal skill, our soft skill, no? In which way, and in this part, I think it's very, very important. My question is, do you know your good soft skill, and about, do you manage better now, maybe after these 2 or 3 years of work, your key points or critical points? I don't know, is the question.
I try. I say it again, I had a hard time because I usually don't trust others. I think that my ideas are better. But then when you have to explain to others whose creative process or is different, you have an opportunity to also examine your ideas, examine your creative process. And I think that the first thing that I have to do is start listening to the others and stop thinking that I'm the best and that my ideas are more than the other ones. In fact, it was because I was asking for the others to listen to me, but it was because I started listening to them that our projects were successful.
It's true, what you said, because both ways happened to me, and I think it's I opened up that working on the visit that you see in our project in the discipline that we did. that at the result, half of the time, I realized that we spent more talking and deciding things than actually doing it. And working as a group, I think, is very, very essential just to train exactly your soft skills to communicate not only your idea but also to listen and have this ability to think that maybe your idea is not the first one that should be.
Speaking about collaborative approaches, I want to ask you about copy. Okay, well, because my daughter say me then, okay, mom, no problem. Copy, when I copy from a colleague or from Google is good because I'm a learning process. I'm learn a lot, including copying with copy. And the last 2 months ago, speaking about AI plagiar, a student say me, okay, it's true, okay, we asked to the ChatGPT AI, but I learned a lot about this. So what do you think about this other kind of collaborative learning process?
I think this is the thing that I was talking about, the learning outside of the school, because what happened is the last year and especially this, coming to class, you see many students that bring something out of the class and show it to you, and I'll be honest, it looks very cool because it was done by different tools such as AI or some artificial intelligence ways. It depends on the way that you use for what, but definitely, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting also to discuss it with your teacher. What's the perspective of that?
For me, at first, I was really afraid of inteligencia artificial. I don't know how to say it in English. AI. I'm very nostalgic, and I thought that it was the end of everything. But when I first started using it, I saw it as a tool more than as all the thing that was going to get us out of the workspace. I don't remember, I was not alive, but they told me that with Photoshop it was like the same. They all think that it was the end of graphic design instead of seeing it as a tool. I'm trying to use it just as you said, like for some things, because it can be really useful. For example, I don't know what this means. Can you try to explain me in another way? And I think it's interesting, and it has no point to do it in a difficult way if you have a more effective way to do it.
In fact, a few weeks ago, we were trying to make these like regulation on how can we avoid plagiarism from ChatGPT and AI, and I decided to ask the artificial intelligence, how can we avoid for the student to use you as a tool? And the reply was quite philosophical. It was not practical at all, but it replied, work on ethics and work on the process. Is do not evaluate the final project, evaluate the process, and also motivate your students. In that way, I would say that it's now students, correct me if I'm wrong, more than ever. 30 years ago, we didn't ask that much why. We just ask what are here to learn, just give me that and I will learn it. Now student needs to know why, and I would say that if we give them that, it doesn't matter if they use artificial intelligence or whatever tool they use, because they know why they want to learn that, and they will learn it anyway. And in a way that I would relate that to the main topic of collaboration, that as we have to be really aware of why are we teaching the way we're teaching, and why are you learning what you're learning. what are we teaching for? What world are we teaching for? For the one that it's happening right now, we are teaching for Ethiopia. We are teaching for make things different. I would say that there, for many decades, it's leadership programs, MBAs. That has been the golden goal at the end of the line, to be a leader in so many ways. And I would say that teaching for collaboration, it's what needs the world right now. I would say that we have to have a clear goal, a common goal, and to understand that. I don't know what you think of that.
It's not easy. Okay. I don't know. I think that it's super important to understand that a school is a place too. For me, this is the point. Is the basic point. And in this place, something happened. No. So when Astenbeck say me about you say about the proximity, no, to the near to the teacher, and not the barrier, physical barrier, is a very important point too, no, in this way. So I think that in this system we have many ingredients. No, we have people, we have relationship, we have spaces, we have tools. We have fonts, no? We have sources, we have information, we have different elements. For me, it's just a balance, no, between all these elements. Absolutely, it's just to understand, and we have to work with this system, and in this system we have different. We can balance different elements. Looking this picture, for example, I remember this moment was in IED in Barcelona, and I just trying to be more near, no, to the student, and I decided to change the disposition of the table, okay, and to create a little studios between them, and asking them about, okay, why it was just at the beginning of the class, and I proposed them to explain to the colleague, because they work in pair in this case. Okay, explain to the colleague what happened yesterday. Not related with school, not related with content, not related with work, not related with project, but just explain you what happened. What do you feel today in the morning? No? This is another important point that we can add in this experience about a learning process where people have to be motivated, and because for me it's the most important. If the students are motivated, they can learn better. No, if the student is bored, maybe it's more difficult. If the student is today the time is very fast, so this is important too. No, you live in a fast time, and the idea is I'm a little nostalgic, because when I see you, I thought, oof, too much for them, okay? Because in our age, without internet, without this fast needed, our life was more okay. Keep calm, okay? We can do queue. We had to ask. We had to write in some paper, just asking for, you could say, a phone line. No, I think that this is another important aspect, personal aspect, related with feeling. How do you feel in this moment? No, yesterday when they spoke about eco stress, no, eco ansia. Wow, so I don't know what is this, because in my age, 17, 18 was the wrong moment for the ecosystem, but we are not conscient, for example, about this. Okay. We have a lot of ingredients, no, in this equazione, no? We have a okay. We would like to know if you have a question now, because especially the students that are here, or if you want to apport something to the question, then we share with Julia and Astenbeck. We would like to listen you. We would like to share with you.
There is a couple of questions from for the student. How do you deal with people that doesn't do the work? the homework if you are the teacher, if you will be the teacher?
I will just repeat. If I would be a teacher, how would I deal with a student? Oh my. I would never thought about that. Perhaps maybe I would start putting myself as a teacher for his place. I would start maybe probably from a reason that he didn't do this, and then try to solve it together, sitting next to him.
I don't know. Maybe I don't have like the thing for being a teacher, but I feel like, well, I was going to say that if they are not motivated, it's their problem. But no, of course, as a teacher, you have like passion, no, to want them to be motivated. I think that passion is contagious. I have a teacher, when I speak, all of us feel it, and all of us want to like try to do things. And if someone doesn't do it, I think it's important to know the reason. Not always it's like, oh, you went to a party and you didn't do it because of that. Sometimes it's because I'm insecure and I don't want to do this because if I fail, I'm going to get hurt. So instead of trying it, I'm doing like as if I don't care. And I think it's important to the teachers trying to understand that and not simplify what is happening to the students. Because most of the time it's not that they don't want us. In high school, they thought like, oh, you didn't do this because you don't like it or you don't want. There is a deeper reason why they are not doing it, and try maybe to sit with them, try to understand, making them feel like cared. And yes, I think that face-to-face conversation can be a solution. I don't know.
But Julia, but the student sometimes the error is the problem. Because it's true that student, our culture is a culture based on the error. No, the wrong. You can improve. You can redoing again. You can, and it's true. Then for me, the basic is okay. School is just your playground, okay, to try and to train you, and the error is not punitivo, ok? Non deve essere una punizione, e forse è anche vero che l'errore è necessario. Se non c'è l'errore non c'è il passo successivo che è correggerlo, no? O comunque migliorarlo. Però è vero che a volte, dipendendo dal nostro giudizio, perché poi purtroppo i professori dobbiamo anche dare dei voti, purtroppo, quindi dobbiamo comunque valutare in termini numerici, e quindi anche se adesso ci sono gli skill, competences, eccetera, però alla fine tutto si riduce a dei voti, anche dei voti numerici. A volte questa cosa blocca, no? Le persone, no? People, no? Student maybe is okay. I prefer don't do, and because I'm not sure. Okay, no, doing, no problem. E a chi è il nostro ruolo invece di docenti, no? As a teacher, I think that it's super important to work about this, no? To work about, okay, what is the message? Okay, it's better if you do this, and after we can work together, or we can review together, or but it's basic to do and to change and to try, etcétera, porque si no, o sea, lo que pasa es que vivimos en un we live, we live in a society where the error is wrong. This is the problem. Quando in cambio the error could be, okay, part of the process in your learning process. It's the same than when you are a baby, you try to to do something, and after maybe you have to your mother or your father taking you, but it's part of the process in your learning development. Is the same, I think. Error is a problem.
They talk in the chat about artificial intelligence again. Artificial intelligence in the future can do the work of the teacher in your imaginary?
Yes, for us, We are working now, just from September we started, and we are working now with the students, okay? Because in IED Barcelona we are very especially in both generative artificial intelligence. Okay, we have writing, generative artificial intelligence. Okay, is about to write, and we are working with the students in last year now in academic writing subject. Okay, explaining them then. Okay, we can work with. Okay, but please inform us and share the information about, okay, this come from artificial intelligence and this not. Okay, maybe we can work together doing summarium, for example. Okay, why not? Okay, so in terms of the academic writing, we think that we believe then could be super important to work from now with them, learning together, because it's true then in this moment artificial intelligence is just a tool, but at the same time is very fast, sometimes too fast. But we have to understand about this in terms of the what is and how work. This is super important to understand how work artificial intelligence. Okay, and especially for students in transportation design and product design and interior design, it's true then is a key point thinking about future and thinking about all these technology support then we teach normally at the school related with programs, no? Entonces, so in this moment in design area especially we think about okay, maybe in the future, in the next 3 or 5 years, we have a lot of hours focus in programs, okay, as AutoCAD, 3D, Alias, no, Blender, etc., and maybe this quantity of hours could be less, because if artificial intelligence in terms of generative images and environment and picture improve, okay, maybe we have to think more about not in terms of the number of hours, maybe your paradigm about I can learn out of the hours, classes or classroom, other thing, and in the class to work about other skill, other part related more with the concept or related more with a development of the project or related more about a business plan. I don't know, no? So we have to think about this, and it's super urgent from the teaching system to think about this, how we can co-live with artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I would say that maybe I'm a little naive, but I see, at least from my perspective when I teach, I see teaching as an emotional process. It's not everything about what we teach, but how we teach it. And I mean, artificial intelligence is just a program that it's programmed to mimic a human. And I think we're many years from them to mimic emotion. I mean, as Julia said right now, it's sometimes when students don't do the work, most of the times, there's a deeper issue that if the wrong is right or wrong. It's a more deep issue that only teachers, only us, the educational community, can address. And that's something that I don't see happening in the future, at least the mid-future, for artificial intelligence. I mean, they could teach mostly everything if we only relate to what we teach. But how we teach it and how we work with the student and how we worry about them, I think that's deeply relatable and hard to reproduce.
I think it might be the parallel, because saying that I'm coming to school not only to learn but also share, it can be related also to teachers. They come not only to teach but also to share, because there is one thing that from many, there's one thing that AI doesn't have. I think it's the experience. This is, as a transportation design student, it's very important for me to have a teacher that has an experience in the industry, to listen them, even if it's not theoretical or didactic material, just to listen what was their experience about the different design works. I think this is very important, because this you cannot find in whatever kind of info source you have, either it's artificial intelligence or internet.
For me, it's like the same. It's like it has to be human, your teacher. You can learn a lot of things using Google, reading books, but no one is going to understand you. No one is going to, like another human who has gone through the same things. And most of our teachers are still there, are still working, and they are really into the new things, and they are also like learning with you. So it's pretty much the same.
Last question.
Sorry, I did not really want to make a question, but I sent a message to Fulvio, and then he replied, if you want, you can make the question. So now I have to ask something. I just didn't want to. But anyway, you were talking about IE, which is an issue for me. I've tried to work in IE, even with my students here in IED. And it seems that IE and creativity do not really go together well. Because IE is meant to, I think, avoid errors, avoid mistakes. And creativity has to do with mistakes somehow. I think there's a genius, how do you say geniale? Genius definition of creativity. How am I supposed to hold this? Okay. A definition of creativity provided by another genius. Who said creativity is making mistakes and then knowing which mistake is supposed to be kept. And so there's two problems with IE and creativity. The first one is that creativity doesn't make mistakes. It's not supposed to make mistakes. And the second, there's no way you can choose which is the mistake that has to be kept. Now the question is, that was the long blah, blah, blah. My question is, should not IED try to build a position, not against, in front of IE? Because IE is a terrific tool, but terrific means great, but also terrifying. If you go around here for the Salone del Mobile, which was devoted to sustainability, IE was a danger. It's now seen as a danger. Now, and that danger is, it could be a real position against that threat, reassuring that we can use it as a tool, keep using it as a tool, but still hold a position that we know how to use it because we hold our brain, we are not used by IE, but we will use it because creativity just goes beyond.
I think then we can't answer to this question. Maybe Emanuele, and he is here, could be. I think that, okay, I can't answer, no, as ID. I can answer as Raffaella Perrone, no, as the director of design area. In this moment, this question is on the table, okay, but for me, it's the same than at the moment, my perception, in my opinion. It's the same than when I discovered then for first time a student did a work. I was in this moment, I was a teacher in history of art, okay, history of design, and I proposed them a very super cool exercise, no, about different research, no, related with a chair, a lamp, a piece of art, a piece of dress, for every decade in 19th century, no? 1910, 1920, And this work, normally, 20 years ago, they did this work on the library, okay, with books, taking a photo, doing the photocopia, okay, preparing with the first computer, only with Word, the text, Okay, when I discovered then my first student doing the work with internet, at the beginning of the beginning, I thought, okay, I have to change the exercise, okay? So, because the main goal of the exercise was not only to do the list of objects, but was to research, no, on the library, to touch different book, different magazine, etc., etc. So I think that we are in the same moment. So I lived, no, this change between books and Google, and now we have to live, to rethink, and to rethink our main goal in terms of the learning process for the student, okay, with this tool, because it's true, maybe it's dangerous, but is here, and we can't do a work with this, okay? And in June, I discovered the first class, okay, with the Turnitin system, in a class with 80 students, 15, okay, presented a work doing with ChatGPT, the basic, no, older system of. So, okay, I meet with them and I say, okay, we are not very sure about this, but our hypothesis is then the majority of you did the work with AI. So our proposal is to do the final evaluation about this exercise in a face-to-face exam, okay? Just to be sure, then in one way or in another way, you learn. This is the main goal for us, finally, no? Is just to be sure then they are in a learning process. If they want to learn, they can learn. And maybe we have to be a little more open to think in the new strategies, just to be sure then they are in this process. This is my opinion. They say me after, I say me, okay, it's true. Okay, we copy and we did the work with AI, but we learn a lot about this. Okay, no problem. We can check in this face-to-face exam, and we did this face-to-face exam for all the students. All the group was wrong.
Yeah, I would say that maybe because I come from a social and art background, I'm more interested in the AI ethics than the technical part. And not thinking about students plagiarizing, but we've been working with image generation AI in the school, and we tried, and it always trying to do fashion images. If you don't tell them anything, it's always a white, gorgeous model. If you tell them, please let the model be overweight, it doesn't let you do the image because it considers the word overweight an issue. But I can say it's extremely thin, and that's not an issue. I think that maybe AI doesn't make mistakes, but maybe AI is biased and can be racist and it's not promoting good body image issues, and that's something we should address, because if we only say, place a girl running in a field, and it's always Claudia Schiffer or the Harit sisters, we have a real problem. I mean, you have enough what we know what fashion. I work in fashion. I would like to work for a different kind of fashion, but artificial intelligence can be quite dangerous in a way, and it should be worked properly for the students. And
it's in a process too. So maybe in 5 years, we don't know. We don't know now. It's so fast. This is the point. Thank you very much. And if someone wants to send us a message or questions, or all the people, student, teacher, educators, we are open to share with all the people new challenges. Thank you.